This podcast is brought to you by eRadio. For more podcasts, check out our website on eradiosa.com or download the eRadio SA app from the Google Play Store. Enjoy.
Yes, hello and welcome to techPLUS. It's good to be with you. Welcome. Kaine, welcome to you as well. It's nice to have you back in studio.
We're back for another techPLUS.
Apparently we jinxed it last week when we mentioned the L word.
No, we're not going to do that again.
Susan is blaming us for the current load shedding scenario.
And you said it.
Yeah,
so
who said it? Was it me?
Going back to the stage 4 again now.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I actually mentioned it again now. But no, I don't think, if it is actually happening, I don't think that works. So we'll just cancel that out.
Well, it might be a double negative, you know?
Yeah.
They just call it off. But what we're going to talk about today regarding that, I mean, I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, you've got some mind-blowing facts. But as we sit here right now with the live broadcast after 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, the latest news is that load shedding is reduced to stage 3 from 9 o'clock tonight. And then that will be until 5 o'clock on Friday morning, and then dropping to stage 2 on Friday morning from 5 o'clock onwards, which is expected to last until Monday, but it could be suspended a little bit earlier because they have recovered their generation capacity reserves. But Kaine, I don't know, did you see stage 4 coming this week? I mean, we didn't even see load shedding coming.
It's really funny because I went to the Eskom Twitter. And if you look there, they say we're implementing stage 1 load shedding, which might be subject to change. And then 2 hours later, they're like, okay, we're implementing stage 2. And then like an hour and a half after that, they're like, we're implementing stage 4.
Very shocking.
So it was quick succession.
Is that Twitter page quite up to date or not?
It's relatively up to date, but I'll tell you what, you go there and there's not one person that's like, load shedding is so great. I really enjoy. Everyone is just
the comments. Yeah, same on Facebook. They always post these releases, these press releases on Facebook, and they actually do it quite well. Always on time and accurate and stuff. But so whoever's doing their social media, at least that person is doing their job.
Yeah.
But they're doing a good job. But anyway, you should read the comments there. Hey. It's really no love for Eskom.
No,
it's just you ruined my life and all
it's
that.
It's like going to Reddit, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's even worse. It is really, and lots of profanities as well. I wonder if they even read those comments after they announce that there's load shedding, because they know they're just going to get hate.
I even added a comment, I think, on the Twitter thing. I was confused because I asked them and received no response. I said, I'm just curious. How do you keep investors happy? Because income for Eskom, I assume, would be derived by electricity usage.
Yeah.
So if you're having load shedding, there's less consumption, and when there's less consumption, there's less revenue. So how do you keep investors happy? At the same time, I think they had 7 units break down in one night.
Sure.
And how do you prevent that? You know, is there no expectation of preventative measures to not let something like that happen, like daily checks of all systems? Well, I don't know. I don't know what the case is, but it is a very interesting question. Do they make more money when there's load shedding? It's a question that I had, but was never received a response, unfortunately. But It is a very logical question.
But Kaine, just to tell the listeners how bad it got this week, just tell them how bad it was.
Oh no!
With regards to the diesel usage that they had, just to keep us going on stage 4 already.
So I believe that they're burning so obviously when there is a low capacity or a low volume of available electricity coming out of the generation units, they have to supplement that in order to maintain the grid. And they've been supplementing it with diesel turbines, which means you feed diesel into the turbine.
Yeah.
It maintains the electrical grid, but obviously at a cost. And they're currently burning through about 9 million liters of diesel a day, which, as far as I understand, is the equivalent to 200,000 cars.
Yeah, according to my broadband, I saw that.
200,000
But geez,
cars.
Kaine, you can't even count to 200,000. What is 9? What's it, 9 what? 9?
9 million liters a day.
What does that look like?
One unit, one diesel unit, costs 700,000 rand an hour to
No,
run
man.
in diesel fuel. 700,000 rand an hour. And they did make a statement which is hard to determine whether it's based on managing people getting upset and angry, but they made what I feel might be somewhat a valid point. They said instead of going to stage 5 or stage 6 load shedding, they've opted to take a financial loss and fuel the diesel units. But is that true? I don't know. But there definitely is money that's being thrown into keeping the grid alive.
But Kaine, now I have a question. I don't know if it's a valid question. Why would you spend all that money on 9 million liters of diesel if you could just use it to fix your existing power plant infrastructure?
I think it's probably a classic case of to repair a unit might cost 10 million rand and take 3 months. So if you don't have 3 months, although you might have the 10 million rand.
Just needed a bit of perspective there.
Yeah, I think it's emergency. And we spoke about it last year even. You know, it kind of feels like, for me, it kind of feels like Eskom, instead of maintaining equipment and generation units, it feels like they're kind of playing whack-a-mole with failures. You know, as a problem happens, they squish it.
Yeah.
And it's just that the whole
just
time.
Put sticky tape on everything and hope it all stays together. But one day, I tell you, listen, you know, we never go. Yeah, we've never been above stage 4, have we? No.
Honestly, I remember being told it's stage 6, but I don't know if it was level 6 for COVID pandemic or whether it was stage 6 for load shedding.
I don't recall ever anything above stage 4 load shedding.
I might be wrong, but I remember
maybe there was a threat, because there was a threat all the time, but not officially. We didn't go into, because I mean, stage 6 a day you'll have like.
So there is stage 6, and I think we've actually been to stage 6, because I remember hearing we've moved to stage 6, and I was like, I thought there were only 4 stages, and then I did more investigation, and I found out there's actually up to 8. There's 8 total stages, so you could get moved to stage 8. I don't know what that would include.
Well, basically just get a candle, because I can imagine with stage 8.
Do you want to hear Nasna for stage 8? 12 till 4:30 a.m., 8 a.m. till 12:30, and 4 p.m. till 8:30. So that's 3 load shedding events with 4 hours for each event. I hope we don't have to go there.
So basically, you'll never have any electricity.
Yeah, no, you're gonna be in trouble. But there is some positive news regarding this problem. Nothing that will solve the problem tomorrow, but it's definitely something positive to look at. Norway and the UK have invested 600 million rand towards clean energy in SA, which I think is it's a number, and we've looked at some of the math before. It takes billions to actually generate a decent amount of clean energy.
Yeah.
So it's a stepping stone in the right direction. But Norway and the UK are spending a combined 600 million to help South Africa transition to clean fuels. The Norwegian Investment Fund for Developing Countries, or Norfund, is investing 360 million, whilst the United Kingdom Development Finance Institution, CDC Group, is investing 240 million into the project. And all this money is going to H1 Capital, not Eskom, H1 Capital, which is a renewable energy company that will use the investment to build a 2.4 gigawatt of wind and solar plants in South Africa, which I think is really cool. I think that's something that we need to be doing. I'm glad that it's not directly through Eskom.
Yeah.
It's through an independent. Whether they're going to be selling electricity to the grid, or whether you're going to be able to access that electricity exclusively on its own grid. It's unknown to me at this current time, but we need to expand upon our clean energy, because South Africa specifically has a goal of going to, I think it's 82% of energy being generated from clean energy. 86%. Currently, coal is responsible for 86% of South Africa's energy, and I think in the next 10 years, South Africa wants to reduce that load by 60% with clean energy. So it's a big goal, and without companies like these investing into South African infrastructure for clean energy generation, we will never hit that goal. I mean, there's no money left at Eskom to start building solar plants or wind farms.
It's going to be overseas money.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing all those in the Northern Cape as well, those solar plants popping up. It's all overseas companies.
Absolutely. And I think I was even reading about Eskom. There's certain things that can influence what stage of load shedding we're on outside of units breaking down. For instance, dam electricity generation.
Oops.
If the dam levels drop too low, you lose 2,600 megawatts of electricity generation. You know, if wind farms break down, you lose another couple thousand.
There's so much that can happen. There's so much that can go wrong.
And if it all goes wrong at once, then we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
So replenishing the grid is very important, and the load shedding is doing its job of replenishing that emergency reserve, and Eskom is doing their job of making sure that there's activatable energy generation, such as the diesel units. But it's not cheap, and I'm just glad it's not coming out of our pocket this time.
Yeah. But how long before we have another price increase in electricity? That's what I want to know. But also, did you know the world's biggest blackout in history? You know, it's almost like a chain reaction. All the power grids worldwide, if one thing goes down, then it puts strain on another thing, and then that thing fails. And then it's this chain reaction, and then that thing fails, and then that thing fails, and then it all fails.
Yeah.
Like in a row. It's like it's dominoes, you know, a domino effect. But the biggest outage in modern times was in India. From the 30th to the 31st of July back in 2012, and affected 620 million people.
Jeepers. So it was out for a day and a half.
Yes.
Well,
and it was extreme heat as well in that time. It was the summer of 2012.
That kind of blackout is what we're tending towards if we can't maintain, you know, the usability of our grid, because the minute demand exceeds capacity, then you have about, we read about it in a few weeks ago, then you have about, I think it's 60 seconds to disarm the entire grid, or a major shutdown could happen, which could leave us without power for up to 3 weeks.
Yeah, because I have to probably rebuild.
So hopefully we don't go above that stat. Like,
may that never happen.
Let's stay with some good internet. I mean, good electrical capacity. Hopefully that can.
But
happen.
When we come back, you just mentioned good internet. You're going to tell us about your new good internet. You're going to show off a bit.
Absolutely, and then we're also going to take a look at Instagram, which has ditched some more of their standalone apps. And then another thing we're going to look at, which is very interesting, is some of the big tech companies and what they've done for this Russian-Ukraine tension.
Nice.
And how they're dealing with it. It'll be very interesting. Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to techPLUS, and with me, well, I'm Eon, and with me is Kaine.
Absolutely.
Kaine, you got nice internet this week.
Finally. Yeah, I've spent the last 2 years on an LTE connection. We got fiber installed now.
That LTE connection.
It's like riding a bicycle to work, but now you get to take your Ferrari. You know, it's like a totally
shame, yeah. Experience. And listen, how expensive it must have been for you to be on LTE for such a long time.
Yeah, I was spending probably between 1,500 to 3,000 rand a month on internet.
Oh my word. Yeah. And it's not even uncapped.
No, there isn't. I'm happy to announce so just the right timing. Telkom's just come out with an uncapped LTE deal.
No, man.
So it's about 870 rand per month, and it's uncapped.
But there's usually a catch, eh?
There's some throttling,
fair usage policy.
I thought so as well, but when I looked at some of the other pricing, it comes in more expensive than any other option. So I think you get 200 100 gigs or something like that for 700 Rand, and then it's the uncapped as the most expensive option. So you will know that you'll get more than 100 gigs, probably 200 gigs, and then you're throttled.
Did they dig up your whole house to put the fiber in?
No, they were quick, eh?
Really?
They just dug a little trench outside in the garden area.
No disruptions?
No. Other than, a concrete drill.
Oh, what
Yeah.
did they drill?
The
Where?
wall to put
Okay.
to mount the device.
Oh, is it quite a big device, that thing?
No, it's small.
Is
The
it-
cable
is it
will
like
blow you. If anyone's ever had the privilege of looking at a fiber cable,
Very thin.
you'll notice it's incredibly thin.
Is it hair thin?
No, inside it's even thinner than
Yeah.
that. But the cable itself is probably about. It's thinner than your cell phone charging cable.
Wow.
Probably half.
And I mean, it's lightning speed going through that small cable.
Well,
you
it's
showed
transferring
me
information at the speed of light.
exactly. You showed me your speed test there, which looked very nice. I'm very jealous. So I hope that I'm going to get some fiber, even though it doesn't look like that.
So that you got to choose one. You can't live by the water and have fiber.
Yeah, and I'll choose the water. That's fine. So okay, but I'm chuffed for you. I'm glad that you finally got fiber. Have you tested it out on gaming and a bit of everything?
Nothing, just
Not yet.
work-related items. But you'll notice that some internet connections, you might have a fast connection, but you don't have bandwidth. Bandwidth is the ability to do multiple things at one time.
Yeah.
Like, for a good example for anyone to understand, if you've ever gone to youtube.com, which I'm sure you have, and you see all of your suggested videos,
Yeah.
low bandwidth would make one image appear at a time, or maybe 2 to 3 images at a time. It would populate all the thumbnails for all the YouTube videos over a period of time. Where through a fiber connection, what you'll notice, it'll load 20 to 30 images in a go.
So you don't even notice it. It's just there.
It's just there. It happens very
Mine
quick.
looks like fluorescent lights coming on, one by one. So I don't have good bandwidth then. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Damn.
It'll look-
Or it could just be my slow laptop.
That's also another thing. That's another thing. So, obviously we know Meta and we know Instagram.
Yes.
Now, when was the last time you saw a boomerang video?
I forgot about boomerangs.
Remember the 1 second looping video on Instagram?
That actually was so annoying. Actually, I'm
It
glad
was.
it disappeared until you mentioned it. Now I didn't even know it was gone.
No, so it just got removed now.
Oh, okay.
And they did it kind of silently. So Instagram very quietly and subtly removed the boomerang and hyperlapse apps from the Google Play and App Store. The reason mainly are these apps are already integrated into the Instagram main app. So why would anyone still use the standalone
Exactly,
apps?
yeah.
So you can delete it. Also, the IGTV app, we spoke
Okay.
about that last week. That was removed.
Yeah.
From the App Store as well. And they've renamed it from IGTV
To
Instagram TV.
wow.
Like we didn't know that's what it means, So
Thank you for being so specific, guys.
they're removing some of the apps, and I think the overall goal is to move everything inside of Instagram. But
Yeah.
we know Instagram, we know Facebook. Facebook just released their Reels, which competes with TikTok. The hyperlapse feature is actually pretty interesting because you used to have to download an app to do a hyperlapse. Now you can just do it straight from your camera. It's actually integrated into most phones' cameras these days, most phones' camera software these days, that you can choose what type of video. You can want a hyperlapse video, then you got camera, you want the panorama. All these kind of functionalities first came out as apps and were later integrated. So these things play a role in these decisions that Instagram makes in order to, turn off certain apps that they offer. I've never downloaded the IGTV app.
No.
I've never downloaded the Boomerang app. I've never downloaded the Hyperlapse app. But I know there are people that do.
But guess what app I downloaded this week?
What? Speed test.
No. No. I've got that already.
Reminiscing.
No. TikTok.
TikTok, welcome to the club.
Okay.
May you lose many hours. down the
Listen,
wormhole
I
of
got
TikTok.
lost. I don't know how they do it, but I didn't even sign up for anything. They just keep the good ones coming.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, this is my final one. Swipe up. Oh no, wow, this is even better. And I just keep saving them. I like that you can save it to your phone, and it includes the music as well. So
It's
I don't
a
know what
creator's
happens
choice.
to
Did you know
copyright
that?
there, hey?
The
You can switch
save-
it on or off.
Yes,
Yeah.
as a creator.
Yeah.
And I've noticed.
I think switch it on. Yeah.
I would keep it on because I think a lot more people became viral outside of TikTok because of WhatsApp shared
You
media.
can save it to your phone and then send it to your WhatsApp contacts. Okay, but so I made my debut, sort of my debut test TikTok video, and you are laughing now.
yeah, I saw that.
I was
good.
doing a gangster there, but geez, man, I got lost. And I mean, I'm not even talking about all the videos I watched. I played with the filters and the effects and stuff. You can create a whole new identity on that thing. You can change your voice, you can change your face, you can even wear makeup in the filters.
Yeah.
It is insane.
I noticed when TikTok came out, the biggest impact that I noticed from it, or the biggest remaining impression that I had after closing the app for the first time, was as a creator, you don't need, and YouTube, you could upload a video.
Yeah.
Right? The video is made. You can take a video that is from your phone and upload it.
Yeah.
Or you can make and edit and develop a video and then share it, right? So the one option, you take a video on your phone, you put it on YouTube. Now it's a YouTube video. The other option is you make a video, you develop it in something like Premiere Pro, you get all your stuff together, you export the video, and then you upload it to YouTube. Meaning for anyone to do more than what they could do capturing an image on their phone, they would have to have video development experience. They would have to have a video development software.
You're right, yeah.
And on TikTok, that's in-house.
In-house, that's the word, yeah.
Everything from the TikTok
You make
app.
it inside the app. Like when you're miming two songs, you can hear it playing while you're actually doing it and all
Very
that kind
clever.
of stuff.
Very
oh
clever.
man, it's addictive. Let me just warn you. So just another warning, there's more to come. I don't just have the gangster character.
I would love to see you in some live streams while you're doing radio. I think that would be
I think that
really
would be nice.
cool.
But I actually want to... I have a few ideas that I wrote down in my diary for TikTok.
Do it.
I seriously think that I can be that creative.
Do it.
But whether I will be able to pull it off or have enough confidence to do so,
There's
something
only
else.
one way to find out.
Do you think I should do it anyway,
Gotta
even if
do
I
it.
fail, hey?
If you fail, think about it. If you fail, if you go out, you make a TikTok account, you make great videos, and you fail miserably.
With 2 views.
With one view, you fail. You have 100 videos and they all have one view. It's a failure. You don't like the content. You think it's all crap. No one's seen it.
You're right.
You got 20 people that saw this.
So nothing to lose.
And if it's successful, and hundreds of thousands and millions of people see it, there's nothing to lose.
And then I'm famous.
Losing is no one sees
You're
the
right.
failure.
Exactly.
Winning is you win. So
Thank you for that.
That's why
Man,
you
you
gotta do
always put things into perspective so well. Thank you. I'm just going to call you at 3 a.m. when I'm having problems for a different take.
Now this thing I'm getting onto next is crazy. Okay, we know about the Ukraine-Russia conflict. I mean, everybody knows about that now. But the question is, what are big tech companies doing to assist, cause sanctions and things like that? This is what we're taking a look at now. So the latest guy to jump on the bandwagon, we spoke about some guys last week as well, is Amazon. Amazon has now blocked anybody from being able to purchase anything from Amazon. So they've blocked shipments, Prime Video streaming,
even Prime, eh?
video game purchases for their new video game World MMO. Amazon is suspending shipments to Russia and Belarus due to the ongoing invasion of Ukraine. It's also barring access to Amazon Prime Video in Russia. So if you're in Russia, you can't watch Amazon Prime.
Jeez, they everything's been taken away from them. They can't do anything. They can't play sport. They can't watch TV. They can't order online. So there's a lot of pressure to stop this war now, hey?
Absolutely. I mean, other game companies like EA Games, CD Projekt, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Activision, and Epic Games have suspended all sales in the country.
Well, good.
And Amazon's cloud computing platform, Amazon Web Services, stopped accepting new signups.
Good.
So no one.
That's how you're gonna learn.
Exactly. But there's even more to the story because other major players like Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, Netflix, and PayPal stopped doing business with Russia. Even if Amazon did keep its services online in Russia and Belarus, users would have a hard time making purchases because Visa and MasterCard shut down operations in the country.
No, look, they screwed, eh?
That's hectic.
Yo.
You know what I mean? You're in trouble then. And also, making Russia no ability to use MasterCard or Visa cards might push them to start using cards from like China's Union Pay system, which might allow Russians to make some purchases overseas. And the important thing to remember is there's a lot of the population that is getting the damage, but it's not the population that is advocating the war.
Just stop the war now, man. There's enough pressure. Maybe even Vladimir is saying, we are just going to make our own MasterCard. We don't need America.
That is a very good point, because what closing down businesses and services, international services to Russia does is it creates an entrepreneurial opportunity.
Yes,
it creates an opportunity to become independent. No one wants to use the MasterCard Visa alternative unless you can't use MasterCard and Visa. So it's a business opportunity in a way for Russians, and it's not a fact that you can just ignore. It really is. Cell phone companies, internet service providers, banking service providers, all these kind of companies are going to start potentially booting up in Russia because there's an entire population to be serviced. It's a business opportunity. So that's the one thing that I feel should be taken into consideration. But that's not all that have stopped. So PlayStation is suspending all hardware and software shipments to Russia as well. You cannot buy a PlayStation in Russia, which is crazy. And also Bungie, which is partnered with PlayStation, has donated $2 million to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and NGO Save the Children to support those affected by the invasion, which is also really good. It's good to see people doing that. So we're basically in this position now where even Nintendo has put its Russian eShop in maintenance mode. Nintendo, you know, it's crazy when you think about how much. I mean, if that happened to us, we would be there would be a lot of difficulty in your existing habitual day-to-day life.
I feel sorry for the kids who want to just play PlayStation and get on with it, you know, who don't have anything to do with the war.
And Ukraine's president went on to Twitter to ask for aid to help, you know, get some visuals, satellite visuals of Russian troop movements and things like that. They were saying that at night their machinery became blind. So they couldn't see Russian troop movements. They couldn't be strategic during that phase. They would have to kind of react to whatever happened that night, which is difficult. It's like a whack-a-mole thing again. You know what I mean? You can't be strategic when you're putting out fires.
Yeah.
It becomes very difficult. So a Canadian satellite company is now providing real-time imagery to Ukraine to help track Russian troop movements, that's a big
nice
one. Vision in a war is very vital to be able to understand your enemy or your invader. You know, vision is so important, and it's amazing to see how many people step up and step in.
Even Mr. Elon Musk with his internet
Starlink satellite internet.
It's nice. I like it. I'm also seeing a lot of pop-ups when I visit tech websites, and then they say how they're helping, you know, donate buttons and all that stuff.
And you might think, you know, it might be helpful, but it's not super helpful. But just outside Ukraine and Kiev, there's, I think, 40 miles long worth of armored vehicles, tanks, military vehicles, Russian troops, all lined up. And that's quite daunting. I mean, imagine you sitting in your house 500 kilometers away. It's an army. You know, more tanks than you've ever seen in your life, more military vehicles than you've ever seen in your life, more soldiers than you've ever seen in your life. And they all are coming for you.
Oof. Ken, I posted a photo this morning on my Facebook of this boy. It's also refugees with this boy, and he's got his little cage with his budgie in, and they're just standing there in the middle of nowhere. I must tell you, this photo really it broke my heart. Eh?
It is.
Look at that. There he stands with his budgie.
Oh, he's just standing kind of on the side of the road with a budgie cage. You know, he's holding his
beautiful.
His
how beautiful, hey?
Well, it's
beautifully sad.
It's beautifully sad, yeah. It's touching, to say the least.
Kane, what have you got for us when we come back?
So, we have a few cool things. So, Samsung confirms a hacking group has stolen their Galaxy source code.
Oops.
We've got some updates Tinder has made to deal with the Tinder swindler publicity. That you should stick around
I can't wait. That
is going to be very interesting. And Uber Eats has brought bill splitting to deliveries, and we'll talk about some of that functionality, and I think there's going to be some humor there as well for us to touch on.
But Kaine, what about
The Titanic? Is there DSTV news?
Yeah, but good news this week.
Okay.
So we'll also put that in.
It's like
somewhere.
watching the Titanic in reverse.
Yes, we laugh when the music is playing here in the studio. It is techPLUS. That was Callum Scott with Rise, the Sam Felt remix. Kaine, it's over to you. You've got a lot to share with us.
This I'm excited for. So Tinder has users can now run in-app background checks.
What?
Yeah. So now you can see past offences relating to dating violence. And we remember the Tinder swindler. This is obviously where it's coming from. It's their way of negating the negative publicity. And it's funny, I always speak to my clients and I say things like, the best thing that can happen to you if the worst thing happens. Meaning, if publicity comes out scrutinizing a feature or a lack of a feature, by directly involving yourself in what they're talking about as the problem and implementing a solution and creating something positive about it, it's more powerful than doing it before the negativity comes.
You're right. Yeah.
It's a complete opportunity, and I think Tinder here as an example has grasped that opportunity very well. So Tinder users in the US only at the moment can now run background checks in-app to screen their matches for possible violent or harmful past behavior, the company said in a news release. The checks are via Tinder's partner with Garbo, which is a non-profit that runs online background checks. This was reported by TechCrunch. The searches will return results that Garbo says are relevant to the user's safety and will exclude some information such as drug possession and loitering. The searches also won't include personally identifiable information like addresses and phone numbers, and according to Tinder, each user will have access to 2 free background checks, and after that you'll have to pay $2.50 plus a small processing fee, probably 50 cents, per transaction that will directly fund Garbo's operations and other fees associated with the services. Users can perform background checks by pressing the blue shield in the app, then going to the safety center where they'll select the Garbo article, which will then direct them to Garbo's website. At first, users will only need to put in a match's first name and phone number, but in the event that the doesn't yield results, users can put more information such as their match's age, and users will receive a match that Garbo shows has a history of violence and encourage them to report this person to Tinder. The company also noted that a lack of history on Garbo's background check does not guarantee that a user is totally safe, and urged users to follow its safety tips for meeting with new people. And when I saw this, I thought, wow, that's useful, because for guys, it's not as important as girls.
Yeah,
you know, it's
definitely.
It's so important, especially in the event. We saw last year Tinder released a feature where people who verified their identity with their ID had that status that they were verified.
That little tick,
catfishes are real. You know, it's a real thing, and it could be for a person that feels maybe insecure about themselves, or it could be someone with malicious intent. You don't know. And being able to perform a background check on someone before you make your decision as to whether or not to give this opportunity the time of day is very important in safety, especially within the Tinder app. But it also brought an idea to me that the way that people date online is going to change a lot, because in the event that, and I think in China it's already implemented, but in the event that doing something bad or embarking on a malicious activity is part of your record that anyone can look at, you might find yourself in a position that if you're a really horrible person and you've done some really bad things, and you let the worst of yourself out into the world, you might find yourself in a position in 20 years from now where you actually can't physically find a date online, because every single person is deterred away from you because of your history. And in China, I don't know if it's true, and I can't remember exactly, but I think in China, some of their dating apps actually allow you to rate the user.
Hey,
So you
that's
can,
nice.
It's yeah, but I mean, it's actually terrible at the same time. Like, oh no, I got a bad review. What, on your business? No, it's me, it's myself. I got a terrible review. People don't think I'm a very good person.
I'm a bad lover.
You know. So I don't know. I think the way people date online is going to change.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at something like this, being able to. I mean, when in your life did you think it would be possible to run a background check on someone out of a dating app?
No.
It's mind blowing.
Good response from Twitter.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be possible in third world countries, to be honest. I think accessing that data is hard enough.
Do you think we're going to get it here?
I think in time it will develop as technology catches up with the government infrastructure that someone like the USA has, where this information can be pulled from a global database for a fee or whatever.
But what if the system is offline?
If the system is offline, don't go on your date.
The South African proverb. The system is offline. So what do you do then? So basically we'll get it in South Africa in about 50 years from now.
I know it will be something like you do a background check, but 6 months goes by and now you get the details and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's no good, eh? And I'm dating him now for 6 months. Yeah, so that I thought was a very interesting story that I wanted to give the time of day. And also, I think this is quite a useful feature, and it's one of those things that you don't realize is a problem until there's a solution. Uber Eats brings bill splitting to deliveries.
That's nice for when you're a bunch of friends and you don't want just one of them to pay.
Exactly.
Or pay them back afterwards.
Exactly, but
that's
the functionality extends even more than just paying, because let's say you order debonaires. You've ordered 3 pizzas, 1 for each friend. You all pay with one card. You would expect that to be the scenario with bill splitting.
Exactly, yeah.
But it goes a little bit more deeper than that. So Uber Eats is getting a group order and bill splitting feature that should make it easier to ensure your friends and family members are picking up their share of the tab. Instead of passing your phone around to everyone in the group so they can place their orders, you'll now be able to start a group order from within the Uber Eats app. To do this, you'll have to navigate to the restaurant you want to order from, hit the 3 dots in the top right hand corner, and then hit group order. From there, you can invite group members by selecting your phone's contacts. They'll each receive an order link over text message. Obviously, if they don't have the app, they'll have to download it from that text message, and your guests can then choose and pay for the food that they want. Here's a little screenshot of the feature, and what you can see is you can see a big order from one person, and then you can see other people busy placing their order, like a WhatsApp group chat almost.
Okay, yeah, it says Mike's group order, so then everybody's got their...
And you can see everyone's order. But
I like that, Kaine, that's brilliant.
It extends even further than that, because let's say you didn't have this feature. You might cover your friend's bill, and you got to awkwardly ask them for the money back. You know what I mean? Or they might say, I don't have my card on me at the moment, no go for me.
Oops.
You know? Or they order a big meal, they don't have the money for it, and then you chase them for a week and you never get the money back.
No, probably won't.
But let's say you do want to front the bill. Right? Let's say you want to treat your friends to a meal.
Yeah.
And you want to allow everyone to make their own order, but you'll cover the bill. On here, when you're in the group order mode, you can set a spending limit for each person. So that they can't order the most expensive item on the menu.
Yeah, hey guys, I've got a budget here. And then people, some friends will order the most expensive thing on the menu, and you can't say anything.
12 queen prawns.
You can't say anything because it gets awkward. So you just close your eyes and pay. It's very cool. So make a limit there.
Yes, and then it goes even further. So let's say you and 5 friends are going on an Airbnb trip at the end of the week. Right, on a Friday you arrive, you're staying for the weekend. Now, on Friday you might arrive at, let's say, 7 p.m. So you want to make sure that you can get food from Uber Eats, but you don't know if you'll have enough time to sit down and get everyone around. So you can make an order in advance, a group order in advance, and then on the day and a few hours before and an hour before, Uber Eats will notify you that you've placed the delivery and it will be arriving, even though it's been paid for already, and you get your food that you booked a week ago, a month ago. Maybe you have a conference event, whatever the case is.
Wow,
what cool functionality.
That's very, very nice. It's just getting more and more convenient.
I think that's one of the biggest updates I've seen an app make in terms of direct utility.
That's Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Listen, but wow, Kaine, that's brilliant. I mean, isn't it funny how things get more convenient, but also in a way it gets more complicated at the same time? Like just simpler times, you know.
Because I mean, ordering from Uber, just getting everyone's card and paying a little bit is the way to do it.
It gets more complicated in a way as well, but it's still very convenient. That's brilliant.
That's convenience at its finest. So what we're taking a look at next is another person has put a ban on Russia, and that's the UK has announced a space-related exports ban to Russia. So anything to do with aviation-related equipment and material, they've banned them from being able to purchase these items from Russia, which will do some damage. Make no mistake. You know, you're talking about the aviation industry, planes. You're talking about the space industry, spaceships, you know, rockets, things that people use to get satellites in the air.
Oh gosh,
these are all things that need
left.
equipment. You know what I mean?
If it carries on like that, they won't have anything left. They won't even have DSTV.
So they issued new trade sanctions against Russia that ban all space-related exports to the country in response to the invasion. And UK Foreign Secretary Elizabeth Truss announced the new space export sanctions on Wednesday, which was yesterday, alongside deeper sanctions related to aviation, including new powers to detain Russian aircraft. The space-related sanctions feature a ban on the export of aviation and space-related goods and technology, including technical assistance, which is important. If you're buying some space equipment from a company, you kind of want to know how to use it, and if you have a problem, you need to troubleshoot it.
Exactly.
But the next thing I'm going to look at, which is quite cool, is Biden has announced an executive order for cryptocurrency, and it's especially predominant in the USA, that people want to start businesses in the cryptocurrency industry. So they want to be able to have clear parameters to which they can operate in the space and be compliant and be regulated and cover the books, you know, and do all of this stuff. So there's been pressure on the USA government to implement policies that people like you and I, if we lived in the USA, would be able to follow in order to successfully implement a business in the crypto industry. Now, it's not like that all over the world. USA has some of the heaviest regulation and restrictions regarding crypto in general. You know, when we were developing over the years, they've put a lot of very heavy sanctions on certain crypto related activities and things like that. And in their mind, it's all about stopping the misuse, stopping the malicious activity, stopping money laundering.
Yeah.
But ultimately, especially when we've been marketing our products and things like that, because we work in crypto in the financial services industry, when we're onboarding new customers, we can't market those products to the USA, which means USA misses out on a lot. And at the same time, people in the USA who are dedicated go the extra mile to get into these projects and be able to participate in these projects regardless. So they've implemented an exercise that would take anywhere from 80 to 190 days in order to fulfill this. And they have to look at things like, can they implement what is the stablecoin market looking like? What can they do in terms of financial inclusion? What they're also looking at potentially integrating a digital dollar and what the benefits and negatives of that would be, and ultimately how to better stay within, you know, anti-money laundering and anti-fund misuse policies and things like that. So this will inevitably affect the price of cryptocurrency depending on what the results are. The crypto in general is already rallying because of this potential that there's something good coming out of it. It's definitely worth putting your ear to the ground and keeping track of it, because these are kind of big things that are forming the regulatory framework by which crypto will grow over the next few years. And it's become an industry so big that you can't ignore its existence anymore. I mean, you see it in NFTs. We have Tory Lanez, we have celebrities, we have Lamborghini, we have, you know, all these big companies that are starting to utilize crypto. And we have China that came out with their digital currency.
What's it called? Do you know?
I can't remember. I'll have to double check. But it is not an easy to remember name, unfortunately.
I'm sure, yeah.
But you have also El Salvador that started accepting, Bitcoin and things like that. You have Ukraine, which just started accepting cryptos for donations into the country and things like that. I mean, crypto is not something that can be ignored anymore. And there are direct benefits. I mean, for a person to send money from one place to another place overseas, it happens in minutes. You know? And as long as there's regulatory framework in place, these things don't have to be, these under scrutiny, under magnifying glass kind of activities. It's something that actually betters the way that we transact. I mean, there was a bank, Santander Bank, I think it was 2 years ago. They implemented Ripple into their core bank tech. And what that did for our everyday people is, if you're in South Africa, even if you're overseas, if I want to send money from here to you, whether you're 10 meters away from me or in Pretoria and I'm in the Western Cape, I can make an immediate clearance of that money. I can say, I want this money to move instantly. I'll pay my 20 Rand or 50 Rand or 8 Rand, depending on what bank you bank at, and that money clears instantly. Now you want to send money from South Africa to Europe. It has to go through the SWIFT system. It has to take days to be processed. And it's just, SWIFT is slow. It was developed in like 1990. And we're still using that same technology. But when Santander Bank implemented Ripple's technology, they were able to provide their customers with an ability to make an immediate clearance international transfer. What that means is you can send money from one country to another country and clear it immediately, the same way as you would do it domestically. And although that might not sound like too much, or might not sound that usable, that is a core customer experience upgrade that helps you in your financial life. That's why crypto can't necessarily be ignored, because the benefits, when big companies start implementing it, you might not know it's being used, but you still receive direct benefit because it is a technology which can be trusted. And that's not even taking into consideration, we spoke about the motor vehicle company that was implementing NFTs to aid with the VIN number history. So that when things happen to the car, it was recorded permanently, forever, and it can always be reviewed by anyone all over the world. And that is, you can't beat that kind of utility, especially when you're talking about vehicles. The biggest concern when someone's purchasing a vehicle is what happened to it in the past.
Exactly, you never know. They just the body work, they just fix the body.
Yeah, well, they might have changed the whole engine. You don't know unless you know.
Exactly.
So things, or in an accident. I mean, that's a big thing. Once a car's in a massive accident where it was just on the precipice of being written off, but not really. You might be driving your car and wondering why, like, sometimes the wheel, takes you more left than right when you're going straight.
Kaine, it's time.
Are we done? We out of here.
But wait.
It's DSTV time.
Just to wrap it up, I've got good news for you. If you were planning on cancelling your DSTV channel, you're getting a brand new channel from the 18th of March, so in about a week's time. It's a new channel called DreamWorks channel, and it's a 24-hour channel dedicated to kids and family entertainment. In South Africa, you will get it on the DSTV Premium, Compact Plus and Compact packages. And then DSTV Access and family customers, you will have a full day between the 18th and 19th of March to watch the channel for free, after which it will be switched off
full
again.
Day. A full whole day.
They'll switch it off again. It's just to make you list, man,
So what is on this channel? What can you expect?
Well, DreamWorks, so
anything from DreamWorks.
Yeah, DreamWorks is a massive catalog.
I mean, I think they work on Up and
all
animations.
That. Yes, Puss in Boots.
Oh yes.
Kung Fu Panda.
Oh yes.
Dragons.
Goldies.
Yes. And the Epic Tales of Captain Underpants.
Now, will that make you go get a DSTV subscription?
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way, Jose.
At least they're trying. At least they're not taking anything away this time.
At least they're trying, They took away like 4, or they're going to take away from the 1st of April when they put their rates up, 4 ETV channels, like we said last week.
That's not such a knock as opposed to only being able to stream DSTV from one device.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a critical blow, that's just such a deterrent. I don't know. I wish them the very best. I hope they find a business model that can work.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got
really
SABC building a competitor Netflix. So,
How's that going?
The sky's the limit at this point.
Jeez, and also before we go, we really have to go now because they're going to switch us off. But the legendary Cape Town cycle tour is also taking place this coming Sunday. So all the best to you crazy cyclists out there.
Yes.
Yeah, taking
luck.
it on. It's a long route. Good luck. Hope the weather's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Kaine, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Thanks to all of our listeners for listening in, and we'll see you next week.
You know, there's somebody who was really absent today. Did you not miss somebody today?
We didn't have the leaf blower this time.
Do you think he was affected by load shedding? Was that thing battery operated?
I think Eskom took all the diesel, so they couldn't fill the motor this time.
Well, good. Kaine, thank you so much. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your week and
You
the weekend.
too. Bye-bye.
This podcast was brought to you by eRadio. For more podcasts, check out our website on eradiosa.com or through the eRadio SA app from the Google Play Store.